Okay, ladies and gentlemen, calling to order the meeting of the Larkspur City Council for December 4th. Can we start off with a roll call, please?
Councilmember Andre.
Here.
Councilmember Paulson.
Here.
Vice Mayor Wei.
Here.
Mayor Candell.
I am here. With that, if you are able, let's rise and do the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda is public comment. If anybody has something they'd like to add that is not part of the agenda today, now would be your time. Feel free to come on up and we'd be happy to hear what you got to say. Seeing none, I will go online. Allison, can you tell us, is there anyone online that would like to make public comment at this point?
I'm looking for any raised hands from our Zoom audience members. And our first comment will come from Stephen Candell.
Oh, boy.
What was that?
I guess you are unmuted.
Say it again.
Hi, Scott.
You are unmuted, so you're live on air. The mic is yours.
Oh, me? I just want to congratulate you on a fantastic year of being mayor of Larkspur. It makes me proud to know my son was the best mayor ever.
All right. Thank you for that. Are there any other online comments we'd like to entertain at this point?
I'm looking for any additional raised hands from our Zoom audience members. And there is no further public comment.
Okay. With that, I will close. That was enough. Thank you. With that, I'll move on to the next item, which is presentations, which there are none, which moves to approval of the consent calendar. Would anybody on the dais like to pull an item or discuss an item on the consent calendar?
Yeah, I didn't want to pull one, but I did want to just highlight what I think is a really important item, something I'm very proud of, item 4.4. I was wondering if this staff could just amplify a little bit of what's going on there. So, for the public and for all of us up here.
Okay. Can we get a staff report on 4.4?
That's the storm drain.
That is the storm drain.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council, members of the public, Julian Skinner, Public Works Director. So tonight before you have consideration of approval of our phase 2 storm drain project. This is a 2024 storm drain repair and improvements. This is a follow-up to a project that you approved a year ago for the 2023 storm drain improvements. And this is following up on the storm drain master plans that you've previously adopted. So these are our first 2 big projects to address storm drain deficiencies in the city. We've video inspected and cleaned out a lot of our storm drains, and we've identified areas that need replacements or repairs. And so this contract is for the second grouping of pipes. There's 35 locations spread throughout the city. Primarily, these repairs will be non-invasive, meaning we don't need to cut into the streets. We're employing a system that involves cleaning out, patching, and then inserting a liner in the pipes to basically renew them so they'll last another 30 to 40 years. And so it's about a $2.2 million contract, primarily funded with American Rescue Plan Act funds. And so in addition to approving the contract for the contractor tonight, there's also a budget amendment that assigns all of the remaining American Rescue Plan Act funds to this project so that they can be obligated by the end of this fiscal year, which is the end of this calendar year, which is a requirement of that funding that we received.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I just want to say, the reason it stood out to me is, we're in the paper looking really good about our roads and Measure B, and having put up a lot of yard signs for Measure G, I feel like this $30 million unfunded liability, I'm just so pleased and wanted to thank staff for getting this going, putting in 35 very big sutures or Band-Aids, inside at the tune of 70,000 each. We have a lot of rains coming up, and thank you so much.
Okay, any other items people would like to discuss on the consent calendar? Seeing none, I will put it to our constituents. Is there any item on the consent calendar anyone would like to discuss? Seeing none, I will put it to our online constituents. Is there any item on the consent calendar somebody would like to discuss?
Looking for any raised hands from our Zoom audience members. And there is no public comment.
Okay, with that, I will close this item and ask for a motion.
I'll move to pass the 4 items on the consent.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Can I get a roll call?
Councilmember Andre,
Yes.
Councilmember Paulson,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Way,
Yes.
Mayor Candell.
Yes, item passes. Moves on to item number 5, City Manager's Oral Report. Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members. Main thing I want to highlight, the holiday lights have returned. They were very popular last year out in Piper Park, so they are up again. And this year we've scheduled a hot cocoa evening event on December 20. The exact details will be posted shortly. And it's an opportunity for the community to come out, gather, enjoy the lights, but also we've invited the sponsors. We have a lot more sponsors this year, a lot of excitement. And so we've invited them so the community can thank them for the present of the holiday lights that are out. And then I just want to note, like a lot of businesses, we slow down a little bit in December and some of our folks take some time off. So strongly encourage folks to call in, make appointments before dropping by to make sure that the person you need to meet with is available to you.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, sir. With that, we will slide into item number 6, is council member oral reports. Are there any council members that would like to make an oral report? Yes.
I just wanted to do a brief update on this new countywide sea level rise adaptation governance structure and decision-making process committee that I'm on. And I know several members of the audience are who are here today are very interested in our environmental issues that are facing in the county. And so I'm serving on that. We had our kickoff meeting last Friday for 4 hours. And more will happen in February. So I'm going to keep everybody who's interested in that. I think the one thing that was important for everybody to know, there were all 11 cities and towns were represented, many special districts, the county, a whole lot of other people were in the room to talk about working together as all these jurisdictions to address the 110 miles of shoreline that is in Marin County that crosses all jurisdictions, and to consider how we can all work together to address sea level rise. It was just a kickoff meeting last Friday, but if those who are interested in the Larkspur community want to learn more, I'll be the point person for that. And the next big meeting that they're planning where the cities and towns are going to be involved is not until February. So that's the only thing.
Well, thank you for that.
I have two quick
Councilmember Andre,
updates.
yes.
Great, thank you. One is the Heritage Preservation Board met last week. They are very interested in how to engage the public with respect to City Hall. And I know there are a lot of people here who are interested in that project. So I am going to recommend to council, maybe in January when we come back, like maybe we set up an ad hoc committee of 1 member of council and perhaps 1 member of the Heritage Preservation Board to help with outreach and just planning and figuring out how we can best involve the public and get public input. And secondly, just wanted to remind everyone that the Chamber of Commerce is hosting the Holiday on Magnolia this Saturday from 2 to 5 p.m. and encourage everyone to attend. It's always a fun event. Thanks.
Okay, thank you for that. Paulson, nothing. The only thing I would like to add is for the RVPA, Ross Valley Paramedic Authority. You may read, there's an article in the IJ, or I don't know if it's come out or not, but regarding Larkspur's role in the RVPA, I want to assure everybody that everything is going smoothly, and we look forward to a wonderful future with the RVPA. We're in the process of making sure that revenues are allocated fairly. So those are the bumps in the road right now, but I am confident we will get through them and live happily ever after. Okay, having said that, that would be item number 6. Moving on to item number 7, public hearings, which there are none, which moves us to item 8, business items. Item 8.1, adopt a resolution declaring the results of the municipal elections held on November 5th, 2024. Can we get a staff report for that, please? Is that unnecessary? All right.
Yes, before you tonight is a resolution declaring the results of the November 5th, 2024 election. The results were certified yesterday, December 3rd. So you received an updated resolution with the certificate from the county attached now. And then at your dais is just a minor correction to that certificate. The total ballots received for the short-term seat was incorrectly put as 7,936, so it's corrected to 7,945. There were no changes to the ballot count for the individual candidates. It's just that one little number had to get changed. That's what your seat at the dais, and it's recommended that the council receive those results and move on to swearing in the new council members.
Okay, well, I would agree with receiving those results. So do we need a vote to receive those results? Okay. Can I get a motion whether or not we should receive those results?
I'll make a motion to receive the
Just
results.
to clarify, there is a resolution,
Oh.
canvassing the results and declaring them, so.
Can I get a motion on the resolution as discussed by our city attorney?
I make a motion to pass resolution 8324, resolution of the city council, of the city of Larkspur, reciting the facts of the consolidated general municipal election held on November 5th, 2024, declaring the results and other such matters as provided by law.
Well done.
I'll second that.
Can we get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Andre,
Yes.
Councilmember Paulson,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Way,
Yes.
Mayor Kendall.
Yes. Okay, now that we have received those results, let's move on to 8.2, which is swear in newly elected council members to a 4-year full term or 2-year short term. Is there a staff report on that, or we just do the swearing in?
Yes, I'll invite Councilmember Kendall, Councilmember Paulson, and from the audience, newly elected Councilmember Margulis
Woo-hoo.
to the front of the room here. Let's line up sort of in front of the dais. Where are your phones? All right. So I'll ask that you please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name, do solemnly swear or affirm
I, Sarah Margulies, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
And the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the
Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
that I will faithfully discharge the duties
upon which I am about to enter.
Thank you. Congratulations. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Come on over. You Thank you. Thank you. Sit down at the end here. For now.
Watch your step.
Thank you.
All right, that would be 8.2. Moving on to 8.3, which is election of mayor and vice mayor. So let me begin by calling for nominations for vice mayor. Would anybody like to nominate someone for vice mayor? Yes, Mr. Paulson, who would you like to nominate?
I would like to nominate.
Ms. Andre. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Can we get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Andre,
Yes.
Councilmember Paulson.
Yes.
Councilmember Margulies,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Way,
Yes.
Mayor Kendall.
Yes. Okay, motion passes. Congratulations. And in the spirit of the smooth passing of power,
We have a crowd outside.
I will now call for a nomination for mayor. Anybody like to nominate somebody for mayor?
I'd like to nominate Vice Mayor Way.
Excellent choice.
Awesome.
Can I get- Okay, can we get a roll call on that, please?
Councilmember Andre.
Yes.
Councilmember Paulson.
Yes.
Councilmember Margulies,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Way,
Yes.
Mayor Kendall.
Yes. Okay, we have a new mayor. At this point, somebody hook me up. There you go. City manager calls on the president of the Volunteer Fire Foundation. Oh, sorry, that's your call.
Go ahead. Since you started.
Can we call the president of the Volunteer Firefighter Foundation to present the ceremonial gavel to the new mayor, please? I guess.
Oh, I know. Thank you, Jim Costello. So, thank you, council. Thank you, staff. My name's Mike McDermott. I'm president of the Larkspur. It's now called the Larkspur Volunteer Fire Foundation. And I've been a member since 2004. And with me is Jim Costello, who's been a member of the volunteers since 1992. Since 1913, the Larkspur Volunteer Firemen's Association, it was a tradition to give a gavel to the incoming mayor. So keeping with that tradition, that's what we need to do. But before I do that, I just wanted to recognize one thing. Jamie Byrne, a long time Marin, he lived in Larkspur, was a volunteer, spent 35 years of his life as a volunteer here and working for Marin County, passed away 51 years old of a 13-year bout of cancer. So just wanted to call him out. And then, of course, we like to call out Oakley Dexter, who's our oldest member since 1940, I think, roughly. Yeah, around there. He's 102 years old, still kicking, still alive and telling stories. But Mayor Way, congratulations. This is the third time I think we're doing this for you. And exactly. And wanted to thank you for, your continued support and dedication to the community. It's always wonderful. So congratulations.
Okay, and before I give up this powerful seat, I am going to make a couple quick comments and then I will pass it on for Mayor Way. I just wanted to take a minute to express my gratitude and to share what I have learned in this past year. And I actually have learned a lot. I have learned what makes a city great. And it starts with everyone, the constituents, because first of all, everyone, when they come up, we get a lot of public comment. We have a very involved community and everybody is always respectful. Everybody always, gives intelligent comments and it's really a pleasure to have the back and forth that we have in here. So I am grateful for that. As well as a lot of the items that end up on our agenda are citizen initiated. Whether it was rent control, whether it's Serenity, the library is entirely, constituent, generated. And, we have a lot of gratitude for that. So thank you, everybody. We're very thankful. Second, I have to thank our staff because that's another thing that makes our city amazing. Our staff is competent and kind. And that's an amazing combination, for people that we work with. For us to be able to, repave every street in the city, relatively smoothly, is impressive, Julian, you're doing an amazing job, and I just want to say thank you. The budget, we every year, we get a budget, and it's just makes our lives so easy because it's so organized and so well done. And Amelia, thank you. Our parks are great. And I want to bring up, in particular, Niven Park. Because this was some place that I really learned a lot. Aside from, all the great work with Julian and Rita, to make this happen, the Quanbeck family was really inspirational for me. If I was going to say what was the one takeaway I had from this year, it would be this project. The grace and the ability that a family has to take a tragedy and turn it into something really beautiful is inspiring. And I look forward to taking that lesson with me, hopefully for a long time. Yeah, and I don't want to go through every staff member. You guys are awesome. We have the best city manager and Moran, and I'm very grateful to be able to work with you. I've learned a lot from you, and I really appreciate it. Sky, you keep your hand on the legal rudder and keep us out of trouble, and you're always available for questions, and you always, give us good advice. And I'm really grateful. Allison, you make everything look so smooth. It's really not. Shannon, you do an amazing job, even though you're kind of behind the scenes. You make everything go smooth too. Elise, you do a great job. Everybody does, and I'm really grateful. And I want to thank my campaign manager and my treasurer are both here, so I just wanted to thank you both as well, making my life go smoothly. Thanks, quick thanks to my family for all the time, because it's taken a lot more time than I thought it would. So I'm grateful that they've been so forgiving about that. And finally, my council members. I must say that I have been to council meetings in other jurisdictions. It is not like this in many places. I am grateful that we can be up here and, we don't have people who like to hear themselves talk, so if we have something we agree on, we're just like, okay, we agree, let's move on. But when there's something we don't agree on, we can voice our opinions respectfully and really get into it and try to figure something out and form a consensus. And I think that's what we're supposed to do, so I am just very, very grateful that we are able to do that, and that we've had that relationship, I don't know, that ability to have those conversations. And I have learned a lot from each of you, because we do have all different perspectives. So thank you for that. And I am looking forward to having a city council with a majority women, which I don't know if we've had in Larkspur before, but we may have, but before my time. So I'm looking forward to that. Well, having 5 people is nice, but I'm looking forward to having a majority of women as well. And with that, thank you all, and I will give up my mayor seat. And okay.
We,
You are the official mayor, so you
No,
get to boss
but
me around, so that's
yeah,
good.
I'm speaking for all of us, and sort of the tradition that the mayor gets a gift from the city. And of course, Burritoville had to factor in there.
Might stop every meeting before I get here, so thank you.
But we also, under my tutelage, have a tradition of a novelty gift. But as Gabe will, will remember. But you'll see that a little later in the evening because it involves a little bit of a musical production by myself and I don't know how to sing. So I was really hoping not to put that on record. So it is something that you will acquire in another hour or so, but.
Well, I look forward to it.
The last thing I wanted was that to go on YouTube because my, but Scott, just I'll speak for myself. It has been a wonderful year working with you because you have just risen to the occasion of leadership that I was really impressed with your analytical skills and your ability to really think through the issues, articulate them, and move us through and to decision making, which is really important. And it's been kind of a challenge in the last several years as we've been up and down, and we've only had 3 members at one time, and we added Stephanie, and now we're adding a 5th with Sarah. So navigating all that has been a challenge in leadership. But I think you've done it very well. So, and I'm looking forward to the next few years. Anybody else want to say anything?
Yeah, I do.
And don't feel you have to. It's okay.
Oh, I have to. So I'll be brief. Where's the timer? 3 minutes. I mean, I feel a special kinship to you, Scott. We both ran in 2019 and we ran again and both times unopposed. So we didn't have to campaign our butts off. But I remember after we got in this office, Scott gave me a call. It was, at nighttime and it's just before COVID. And he asked me, what do you think of this council position? I don't know. And I said, that's great. I'm enjoying it. He said, well, I wonder if we're actually doing anything. I wonder if we're accomplishing anything here. And so, the years went on and I think a lot has happened. And as this year was winding down with him being mayor, I kept wondering if Scott is going to run again. And he was on the fence. And I was just like, come on, you got to do this. But I feel like that conversation kind of came to closure with this year because I think you should feel, and I hope you do, that you accomplished a lot and that you really made a difference. And not only in the protocols and the logistics, but also just in your presence. And that you, to me, have democratic instincts. We live in such a crazy time of hyperpartisanship. And I think, to me, you bring out a reason I want to be in local government, which is that you want to hear people's voices, you want divergent thinking, and you do everything you can to encourage that, including going to 10 or 11 at night. So I wanted to thank you for all that. And I want to thank the council, just like you did, Mayor Ware. I mean, it is a testimonial that we got along so well. And to me, I think we're all here wanting to, continue what's great about Larkspur, but also to kind of set the tone for local government as much as we can. And Stephanie and Catherine, Scott, you've been great. And Sarah, I know you'll be great. And I'm so glad you're on the council. So anyway, it's been a great year. And Scott, thank you again.
Thank you.
Well, I will echo what all of my colleagues have just said. And, but I do want to add a very special thank you because when I got on council, you were exceptionally kind and very welcoming. And I remember before the first meeting, you were like, hey, don't worry, don't be scared about speaking up. And you tried to make me feel very comfortable. And I really appreciate that. It was, it was a great welcome for me. And also it just put me at ease. I agree with what our council members have said. It has been an exceptionally tremendous year, I think, in terms of what we've accomplished. And I think a lot of that is due to your leadership and how you've guided us through these meetings. It's not always easy to get to the heart of the issues and discuss what the real points are, what the real touch points are. And sometimes, it's hard to get consensus, although I would say that I feel like, we work well as a team here on council, and we welcome Sarah. So I think that you should be very proud of, and I have really enjoyed working with you on the ad hoc committee as well. So I have to say that it's been a lot of work. It's been a lot of work behind the scenes, away from the public eye, and you have always been accessible. I know you're extremely busy, but you have always been accessible and willing to talk about the issues and get, dive into the details. And most importantly, I think you should know that, the public should know that I think you've always kept the public interest, front and center in terms of the work that we're doing. So congratulations on a wonderful year. It's great. It's been wonderful working with you and all of my colleagues as well. And we look forward to another great year with Mayor Way. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. And we've been on the council for 10 minutes. You want to tell me how awesome I am? You should know. All right. So with that, yeah, we get him back on here. All right. So anyway, with that, actually, you are the mayor. Would you like to adjourn the meeting?
To say my words.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
No, we don't have to trade places. No.
Come on, it's ceremony. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, I think we're supposed to. Do we have a new nameplate or, okay.
I gotta go to Burritoville. I'm not gonna get it. Thank you, Allison. I'm not going to be long because we have a dinner to go to. But I would like to first acknowledge two previous council members, Joan Lubomirski, who's in our audience. Can't tell who's online because I can't read that far. But Larry Chu is also in our audience, and Larry Chu was a 3-term council member, and Joan was he 4-term? Were you 3 or 4? Oh, Joan was 4 terms. Larry was my mentor when I decided to run. And in fact, he was mayor when I took over for the second time. So this is my 3rd and last. I'm announcing that now. This is my 12th, will be my 12th year on the council. So the first time I took over, I was appointed mayor was 2016. And then 2019, when I took over from Larry Chu. And people have said to me, and what are you going to do this year? I mean, what are your plans? And I've looked back on both of my sort of inaugural speeches. And I looked back on my December 2019 inaugural speech. And boy, I had a lot of ideas of what we were going to do in 2020. And we had a lot of great plans, didn't we, for 2020? And here I look back now and I see that March 2020 was a dramatic change in local governance. It was a dramatic change worldwide, countywide, statewide, nationwide, but locally, it was a huge change. And that was sort of my introduction to mayor leadership at that time. And what I can say from that, what we learned during that extraordinary year was that a city of our scope and the quality of our city for our residents, our businesses and visitors is because we have very thoughtful leadership on a city council of volunteers and members of the community who participate as members of Park and Recreation and Larkspur Library and the Commons, but we also have fantastic staff. And I think Scott just mentioned and spoke so eloquently about how important it is for local government to have quality staff who are supported, who are allowed to do their job, because that's what they're paid to do, and they're excellent at that. And we are blessed in Larkspur to have some of the highest quality staff. We have members of the community in Marin County who have had 5 city managers in 6 years, and multiple different arrangements of key leadership within their communities. And we have had strong, consistent staff in our town. And I think that is why we have been able to accomplish a lot. I don't want to kind of go through tons of accomplishments, but I look back on the last 3 years in which we've been serving together, because I think it's a team effort. And a few of the highlights that I think we should be really pleased that this city and this council work so cohesively together is that that we've worked on the Measure B pavement rehabilitation project. And believe it or not, Larkspur was at the bottom of the pavement structure within the 9 Bay Area counties when we first started this process. Thank you, Larry Chu, and when we got it started under Measure B and Measure, was it C? Yeah. that now the review was done, we're at the top of the list. And that's fantastic because it took a lot of effort. It took a lot of planning from Public Works. It took a lot of patience by our residents because everybody wanted their road paved first, but we had a plan. And that's what you have to do. We hired an expert in pavement rehabilitation and we created a plan. And we stuck with the plan and we were able to be successful in that plan and stuck to it, even though we got a lot of pushback because everybody thinks their road is more important than everybody else's. But we are now almost number one. Are we number one? We're number one in the Bay Area on that. In the last 3 years, we navigated the renaming of the Sir Francis Drake Boulevard and all of the issues that transpired in 2020. We completed the Magnolia Avenue sidewalk and roadway rehabilitation project, which really enhanced our downtown look and feel. Along with that, we negotiated when you were chair, where you were mayor, or maybe Dan Hilmer was, the beginning of lengthy conversations about the role of parklets in our historic downtown and coming up with an outdoor dining policy about that really was what we did coming out of COVID-19 restrictions. We completed the housing element. Thank you to our community services director. Boy, that's a heavy lift for any town and it's a heavy lift for staff. And we completed the general plan, which boy, that's like rewriting the Bible practically for the rules and regulations that the state of California requires for a general plan. But that is a huge amount of work by city staff and by us as policymakers that has been completed. We created the first final plans for the library and community center. You see the story polls that are up. Finally, after how many years of working on that project, we're on a roll with that. And we broke ground a couple of weeks ago and we're gonna start to see the walls coming up really soon. It's only been possible because of a collaboration between the community to fundraise under the Commons Foundation and other, the Larkspur Library Foundation and the Friends of the Library to really focus on getting this final underway. It's not done yet, but it will be, and they're always looking for more financial support. Hint, hint. But it also was not possible until we had our diligent public works director and our city manager and our assistant city manager and our library director write a fantastic grant to the state of California for matching funds. And we are a pretty small jurisdiction, but we got one of the highest per capita matching funds of money from the state of California for a new library. And that didn't happen because we just asked. It happened because we had a staff who wrote a comprehensive request and were very thorough in finding that we had a shovel-ready project and we couldn't have gotten the matching grants without that. So thank you to the staff for doing that. We're navigating still the Bon Air Bridge mitigation projects. The Bon Air Bridge project was a huge project that was all decided before I even started here, but it took a long time to get that finished. It's done. We're all thankful and patient for the patience of the community because we left the bridge open. Would have taken a little bit less time if we had closed the bridge, but we heard that the community was interested in having a thoroughfare always open. And the mitigation projects are now well underway. A few bumps with those, but we'll get them done. I don't know if anybody's gone out to the new dock, but that's one of the 5 or 6 mitigation projects. We adapted to the impact of a novel project, Project Home Key, which Scott and I stood on that committee, which was bringing in a new living arrangement community to Larkspur that we haven't had before. And that was a lot of navigating expectations and how we would incorporate a new community of previously supportive housing for previously long-term homeless individuals. And we worked hard with that, and I think we will be going forward doing a lot more with that as it goes on. Months and months and months and months of rent stabilization and just cause evictions in the last 18 months has been a very a very emotional and dramatic time of discussion within this community and countywide and statewide, et cetera. And I want to give so much kudos to previous Mayor Paulson and Scott Candell and Dan Hilmer, because they were all three mayors when we were navigating the very emotional and very fraught with a sensitive discussion of rent stabilization and just cause eviction. And I think that probably, when I look back on previous agendas to get some of these topics, the amount of public comment that came in for rent stabilization and just cause eviction was enormous. And it almost compares to the amount that came in for Ruly sidewalk seating. But it's part of what we do. We are here to listen to community and to weigh the pros and cons and to weigh the law and what the rules are, and then make our own best judgment on that. And then we lost Councilmember Carroll to his disease back earlier this year. And it had, previous to that, Councilmember Haroff had resigned June of last year. Or was it 2 years ago? I believe it was 2 years ago. So we've been in transition, but all during that time, we were able at one point to have a 3-member council. And then we added Stephanie Andre in the spring by election. But losing those 2 council members, a lot of councils kind of flounder when that happens because they lose the quorum potential. But we were resilient with that, and I think that speaks well to how we decided to really recognize that appointing someone during the contentious time of the rent control measure discussion may not have been the best for the community. We really wanted to involve the community by having the opportunity to have candidates being voted on, which is why we are enjoying both of the 2 of you. So I want to just welcome you, Sarah, and say I'm really looking forward to your role, new role here, and I'm hoping to have lots of opportunities to have discussions and help guide you, and you also. These guys are old hands now, so I don't need to do anything there. So just to wrap it up, like I said, I had a lot of focuses last time I was up here that all got thrown out, but I decided I would just sort of say 4. I think I have 2 more years on council and then I'm retiring. So I'm putting that out there now so that everyone knows you have 2 years, Mike McDermott. I'm looking at you in the corner. I'm looking at you, Tammy, I'm looking at you. You got 2 years to think about it. But part of what's important is succession planning. And we really need to find, I mean, this is a highly important, I believe, for a community like ours, volunteer role, that we really want to keep the progress, that the financial stability, all of the things that Larkspur does really well. In fact, everyone says to me, they love Larkspur. How do you guys do it so well down there? I said, because we've got it figured out. So we need to do that. So succession planning is going to be something I'm going to work on to make sure we can continue to bring in people to see how important it is to serve and how we can help each other so that they don't feel overwhelmed with all the process. I have been, number 2, I've been working on this library and community center since I sat with Judy Friedel in Ann Morrison's kitchen a long time ago, talking about this plan. And we are now going to see this project completed, and I'm not going to let anything stand in its way. So I'm just laying that down. That's my marker. Nothing's going to stand in its way. And if there's a tornado that comes through, we're going to get out there with hammers and fix it the next day, because I'm not going to let anything stand this way. I think the third is to continue to find creative solutions to our ongoing challenges that we face with minimal control that we get from the state and the rules that we receive every year. I was just talking to our community services director, Elise, about all the new rules that we have to implement into our ordinances about housing, about transportation, about other policies. And that's what we have to do as a local government, is that we live under the structure of a state and the state laws that are made. And I think we need to hold true to Larkspur's values, but we need to do it within the reality that we live within a democracy in which the rules are written and we are the implementers of those rules. So I'm going to try to really help us navigate whatever we can do to make sure Larkspur stays what it is. And then lastly, the fourth is to continue to collaborate with our neighboring cities and towns about how we can share services with them or find ways in which we can collaborate on events or activities or funding or something, because our towns are so wonderfully integrated together, and our schools are, and so our towns should remain that way. I'm looking forward as our relationship, the Larkspur council's relationship with the town of Corte Madera and the town of San Anselmo has just gotten so much better and more collaborative and more interesting and fun over the last several years. So I hope to keep that up. And that's it. So we will be adjourning for our next council meeting, which is actually in 2 weeks. So oftentimes we do this transition at the second meeting in December, but we have some important things to wrap up by the end of the academic, not the academic year, the end of the calendar year. So we are adjourning for tonight. And you are all welcome back here at our next meeting, which is December 18th at 6:30 p.m. Good night, and thank you all for being here.